In a world that's constantly throwing things at us from different sides of the sphere, left, right, east, north, it sometimes becomes easy to forget one of the most important relationships, that is relationship with self.
Absolutely, Thelma. The world demands so much from us. But you see, self-love goes beyond a spa date or positive affirmations.
In fact, you've said it. Self-love involves setting boundaries, accepting our imperfections, and recognizing our self-worth, even when everybody else seems not to.
Yes, indeed. Join us as we break down ways that we can love ourselves and promote self-love. If you're just joining us, it is your favorite weekend show, Weekend Deal, coming to you from the network service of the NTA. I am Patience Eloy Abba.
And it's that self-love and self-worth that enables young, dynamic women to step into the world that hitherto men took center stage. Let's work together today on Weekend Deal. My name is Thelma Obaza, and it's all about you. Ifeoma Ojinta is right there. It's all a ladies' thing, right?
Yes, loving herself and looking beautiful.
As always, please take it away with the news highlights this morning.
It's Weekend Deal, your favorite weekend show. You know, like how we like to celebrate people who have made their mark today. It is our pleasure and honor to celebrate one of our own sons, Kanye Yachuku Tagbo Okeke, our Wonder Boy artist, who has been celebrated for making the largest single art form on canvas. I think it was unveiled at the Eagle Square on the 2nd of April. Let's see this. Thelma and I will talk more about this when we come back.
Life, back to reality, back to life, back to reality, back to life, back to reality, back to the here and now.
This is not ordinary. It can only be the grace of God that has given him the strength to do this. I can't even explain it. I can't even explain it. It's beyond my wildest dream. It's beyond my expectation. I was thinking it would take him months and months and months, but he has just been amazing. And I can just say, I'm a woman of faith, and I can unapologetically say this can only be God, and I just give God the praise.
He's a very passionate, driven person who he wants to do what he wants to do, and I think that's a very good thing about him.
But I've seen him paint, I've seen him work, and he's very passionate about what he does, despite his disability.
Give me special treatment.
It's a thing of pride as a Nigerian, and it's also a thing of pride because I have a personal relationship with Kanye. Kanye was a student at the Zibasa Foundation from 2019 up until date, so I know him personally. So it's a great thing of joy to see the young man coming to the fullness of his abilities and showcase what he's able to do in spite of whatever challenges that he's had to confront. So it's a great day for him.
Louder than the
Kanye is a young man that has not allowed infirmity to hinder him. Is a young man that has the ability to change the world. And, you know, with the frameworks that we have put in place and, the reach that we have as a creative industry, I think it's something that can really inspire Nigerians despite their class, despite their calling, despite their community, to understand that within the creative industry, you know, they really have the ability to add worth and value to themselves, to their communities, and to the country at large.
I could give the sun a 10. Now I'm number one, something like 10 over 10. Divide that. I am a born champion. Je n'ai qu'un spécial. You are a born champion.
Screen, you can go ahead.
We are the born champion. This is the song for the champion.
I'm a champion like
Can't you see?
Many thanks to Art Life, our dedicated team, Kohol and Uma and the rest of them who brought that for us on Weekend Deal today. You know, patience, you know, if you're not humble, creativity can humble you.
Honestly.
15-year-old, you know, breaking the world record and entering the Guinness Book.
Yeah.
So simply.
And you know, what's so emotional for me is the fact that he's autistic.
Yes.
I mean, many parents will not know what to do with a child like that. And the parents nurtured him, nurtured in special needs. Yes. And today, he's on the world stage.
Yes.
Oh, goodness.
The parents, you know, at different times when we spoke, the father and mother said they became hands-on.
Yeah.
There was time when they didn't understand. And they were like, how do we go from here? But the minute they began to do research, get into the mood and the motive and the rhythm of who their son really was, they began to see the specialness in him. Little did they foresee what they're celebrating today. And today they're making not just the family,
The
and a
whole
nation,
nation
a
proud.
continent.
Oh God, we are proud. We are proud.
Wow. And as creative as his work is, the title is Impossibility is a myth.
Oh my goodness.
That means impossibility is nothing.
Impossibility is nothing. Well done, Mommy and Daddy. Well done, Kanye. We love you.
We celebrate you. Thank you so much for giving us a reason to enjoy our morning in a special way.
Yeah.
And also reached our theme, self-love.
Self-love.
Wow, well done. So self-love allows you to set healthy boundaries and embrace your imperfections. Little wonder France has been doing the diligent work behind the scenes so we can enjoy and learn again about self-love with our background feature today. Francis, take it away.
The foundation of personal well-being and fulfillment is self-love. It is the practice of valuing oneself, embracing strength and imperfections, and prioritizing mental, emotional, and physical health.
Knowing what you want, knowing your purpose, knowing your value, knowing your boundaries, and then not only knowing it, living it. Because one thing is about you knowing, another thing is about you living. And selfishness on the other end of the divide is about you being excessive about who you truly are, and most times it is often against someone or just opposing it with the other person. You're so excessive you're so into yourself that you don't care and value or respect the decisions of others. But it's been you. You say, it's been me. No. Selfishness has been excessive.
In traditional settings, women are often expected to prioritize others, family, children, employers before themselves. As a result, self-care may be viewed as indulgent or even selfish.
It's time for you to express yourself to get things. You're not willing. You hold back because of what will people say. What does the society say? If I go to some place, am I not supposed to go with my husband? Am I not supposed to be with my children? Expectation from people, it keeps holding you back. If you now have certain illnesses, that again becomes certain barrier. That probably someone had told you that you have a big head, a big nose. You're already self-talking, you're second-guessing yourself on a regular. So those things can be barriers generally when it comes to self-love.
One common myth about women and self-love is that self-love is only about external beauty and self-care routines, whereas it actually encompasses emotional, mental, and physical well-being.
If you're not mentally stable, you are so overwhelmed with several activities, several pains, struggles, that alone can clog your mental well-being to the extent that you will not even be seeing yourself. Probably you have certain family challenges. You will be so overwhelmed that the challenges becomes like your reality. You're forgetting yourself in the process. Then, before you know, you start losing certain level of your self-expectation. Another dimension is the spiritual dimension. We all know that most times the spiritual controls the physical. No matter what religion you belong to, there are certain times you need some spiritual well-being. You need that awareness to know who you believe in, how you believe in whatever you believe in, and how you worship. That alone, because when your spiritual space is settled, it affects your mental well-being and affects your physical well-being. So on those dimensions, you can say, oh, if I'm well mentally, emotionally too, spiritually and physically. So those are the dimensions we can be looking about self-love.
When women practice self-love, the benefits extend to their families and communities.
One of it is about self-confidence. When you know who you are, you know your values, you know your purpose, you know your boundaries, you know what you're supposed to do part-time. Something happens to you, it boosts your morale. Whenever they call you and they want you to represent somewhere, you show up because you're confident, you're ready to express it. Those are part of it. There are certain times your children may need your attention. You find a way to adjust your workspace. There are certain times your workspace will need your attention. You find a way to balance the family. So when you learn how to counterbalance, it helps you build certain level of, because you cannot be everywhere at every time. There are certain times that you love to be with friends, to hang out, to rejuvenate, to reconnect to yourself, to go back to those dreams you have always desired. So there is a time for everything. So know when to prioritize, know what to do part-time. So it helps you groom your self-confidence and helps you groom who truly you are. And by so doing, people around you will see happiness. You will exude it. Some people keep saying, oh, I come around your space and I'm so happy, I'm so excited. It's because you know who you are and you're living you deliberately. Then you can now start saying, yeah, I'm living my best life.
Thank you so much, Francis Okbe. Self-love actually goes beyond what we see, the external beauty. It encompasses all. It is critical to our well-being and our mental fitness. Now, what are the barriers to self-love? Knowing how important self-love is, what are the barriers? NTA Abuja will tell us that and more.
Self-love is a necessity for women and is the foundation of empowerment. When a woman learns to love herself, she radiates confidence, strength, and grace. She becomes more than just a reflection of society's standards. She becomes the standard. So what is self-love?
The art or act of valuing yourself understanding that your happiness and well-being is important, and then learning to prioritize that. There's so many aspects to self-love. There's self-care, self-compassion, learning to forgive yourself, setting boundaries, self-respect.
As a woman, celebrating your achievements and trusting your worth is key. When women prioritize their own well-being, they not only transform their own lives, but they uplift those around them, like their family, friends, and community.
The demands of the society, how we were, a lot of people were brought up, especially, I think it's changing now with our generation, but I think in the past generations, parents, how they relate with their children, how they expect, young people to show up where you're being told to keep quiet, where when adults are around, not to look into the eyes of older people. So all of these things begin to affect the confidence or self-esteem, how somebody sees themselves, how they feel about themselves, whether they feel, whether they value themselves or they feel worthy of certain things. So it really plays a vital role. So I think it's really important now more than ever that, in raising children, that we teach them to be able to have that strong belief in themselves, to be comfortable in different situations they find themselves. You need to learn to surround yourself with positive people, and then also learn to connect with others. I think first, the most important thing is from time to time, we need to audit ourselves. We need to look at who is around us, the people that we relate with. What value do you get from this relationship? What value do you get from that relationship? If you audit your relationships and you realize that there are a lot of unhealthy ones around you, then maybe it's time to move around. You don't have to always please others. You need to also prioritize your own well-being, your happiness. You don't need to compete with others, especially now where social media is taking over so many things. But that's probably not their reality. So people need to understand that, they need to have realistic expectations, not having unrealistic expectations, and then also learning to say no. We need to do those things. It's good for our mental health. Drink lots of water, exercise, eat healthy, find time to connect with nature, relate with other people, find fun activities to do, something that takes you away from, the hustle and bustle of life.
When a woman loves herself, she becomes a catalyst for change, creating a ripple effect that redefines what it means to be strong. When she pours into herself, it is not selfishness. It is for her to be able to give more and to love more. So here is a charge for you. Give the women in your life a treat, a spa date, a book, or something special. She deserves it.
It's always, we're deeply appreciative of all our location reporters who go the extra mile to delve into corners and crevices that sometimes we ignore to ensure that we have a comprehensive understanding of what we're tackling today. Self-love, very short phrase, but very deep. Good thing we have someone who will go analytical on this small but very important aspect of our lives today on Weekend Deal. And it's time to meet, greet, and make her very welcome to Weekend Deal today. So we're talking about Oke Chinye. She's a business psychologist, a mental health therapist, and an inspirational speaker. And already you can see how inspired I am. Her profile first, and then we'll get her to do justice to this all-important issue.
You're welcome to Weekend Studios.
Thank you so much, Patience. I'm honored to be here.
You look beautiful.
Thank you.
Okay.
Thank you. That's very kind of you.
Honestly, you look nice. Okay, now, I asked her what she wants us to call her. She said, Lady Okay. I mean, a woman with class and steez. I like that. So now, we're talking self-love. And we said, they have said what self-love is over and over. But what is not self-love? And maybe you could just put them together, self-love and what is not self-love.
What is not self-love?
Yes.
First of all, let me say thank you. I'm honored to be here. And a very good morning to Nigerians and to the audience of this super amazing show. And good morning, Thelma. I haven't forgotten about you. I haven't forgotten about you.
Thank you for making the time.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you so much. So what's self-love? We've heard a lot about what self-love is. So what exactly is not self-love? Now, understanding this, when you want to understand what something is also good to look at what it is not. Self-love is not the compulsive, obsessive obsession with yourself. Self-love is not winning at the expense of the other person. Self-love is not putting your interest high and above the other person. Self-love is not obtaining and getting and amassing everything at the expense of the other person. Because at the end of the day, would you say you love yourself if you are happy and those around you, or you are happy at the expense of those around you? And self-love is not a luxury. These are myths that we've held. Self-love doesn't necessarily have to be expensive. What is the beginning of self-love? The work of self-love begins from within. So the myth is that, self-love is about expensive vacations, luxury, spas, self-care, wearing the lace wig, the human hair, and all of that. No, the work of self-love starts from within, and it starts with self-awareness. Self-awareness. You've got to know who you are. Who are you? What are your values? What are your principles? It's often said that if you don't stand for something, you would fall for anything. Yeah. What is your purpose? We're having conversations just before we came on air, and we're talking about the things that are happening. A lot of the atrocities that we see in society are supercharged by people with very little connection to a meaningful purpose. Because purpose is about the other person. Purpose is about service. Purpose is about contribution. Because you know what? The greatest freedom sometimes comes not by what we create for ourselves, but by what we create for those around us.
Wow.
For those around us. The deepest sense of freedom, the deepest sense of satisfaction and fulfillment comes when the other person says, thank you for having my interest. Isn't that the greatest form of self-love?
Oh, yeah.
So let's not have this myth. As we go along, let's not have this myth that's all about spa. So that's self-awareness. I talked about self-awareness. Yeah. And then next, self-acceptance. Self-acceptance and self-regard. Self-regard is different from self-esteem. Self-esteem is when you accept yourself because you have this, you look beautiful, you dress well, and all of that. Self-regard is the unconditional acceptance of yourself. And it is different from self-esteem. It is accepting yourself, whether you're short, whether you're... And something just happened, something just occurred to me now. Maybe I should just share it because many years ago, so many years...
shorter than you.
No. Entering into university as a jambite, the toast jambite. This was so many years ago, the toast jambite. The very first guy who toasted me as a jambite. As I came in, one of the things he said was, I'm quite tall. Was half... And you know what? When I said no, he didn't understand why I would say no. I mean, why would I? What was there? Why would I say no? So that's self-regard at the highest form. Wow. The unconditional acceptance of yourself. Treating yourself as a human being, that's what is lacking in society.
But let me just come in here. There are many... To completely align with this, in the course of our conversation, it would be nice to hear human angle stories because they drive home the message so well. The way you explain that entry university, is so key. when you mention self-love and the ability to impact people to the extent that they thank you, it does lead me to think that leadership, more leaders should have self-love, because then they are thinking outward, not me. Where are we with that in that regard?
So it's because, so then again, it's a good thing we are doing this, because this is creating awareness. So many people are watching. Also, and they are beginning to have the aha moments. Oh, I thought self-love was about me. But somebody is hearing that self-love is not about you. Self-love is about purpose, it's about contribution, it's about service. So when our leaders come into that understanding that also, yes, when I serve my community, I'm actually loving myself. Because when I serve my community, then the kinds of vices we'll see, all the atrocities that are going on, they are reduced. So I'm actually creating a safer environment for myself. And that is self-love. Would you say you love yourself if you're okay in your own palace, and then you're not even sure of your own safety or your own security when you step out of your zone? That's not self-love. Self-love is about purpose. It's about contribution. It's about impacting society. Because at the end of the day, when you impact society, then it is well with you. There's reduction of violence. Mental health, you talked about mental health. Mental health is at an all high because people are giving up hope. Everybody's, me, myself, and I. So I was pretty excited, about this topic about self-love, because it's one thing that is needed in today's society. Our leaders, our political leaders, our religious leaders, our community leaders, our societal leaders need to come into the understanding that self-love is not just about myself, in myself. It's about building, it's about, and when you are high on self-love, you become a more empathetic human being. Because when you are okay with yourself, you treat people better. It will amaze you to know that, and research has documented this, that when people treat you badly, it's because they're unhappy with themselves. And another example comes. I was on vacation once, I went for my medicals and just vacation, and, as a black, young black, this was so many years ago, as a young black woman, I entered into a cab driven by an older black man, and he was so nasty to me. He was so nasty to me. I entered into the car, I greeted him, he didn't even answer. He was so nasty to me. And then when he dropped me at my destination and I came down, I was beginning to feel angry, but then I just remembered this phrase. Yes, a light bulb came up, that people usually who treat you unfairly, unjustly, and badly are because they're unhappy
with themselves. They project their insecurities on you.
They want to make that other person at the other end feel as bad as they are feeling. Because if you love yourself, if you feel good.
But what ought we to do? Because sometimes what happened, you were coming down from the cab, so you were going away from the insecurity and bad behavior. But when it happens in a place where it's constant, either with a partner, either with maybe siblings, neighbors, or in the workplace, ought you to continue to take it, even when you identify what the cause is? How do you address it and not create anarchy or chaos?
So it's communication. It's communication. Like I said, I did say something. I said, when I came in and you laughed, and I said, we teach people how to treat others.
You said so, absolutely.
And it's not in the communication, it's not in the, you did this to me, you did that to me, you did that to me. No. Everybody can be mad at the same time. So self-love is at the center of all of this. When you are aware of yourself, when you accept yourself unconditionally, you treat people better. There are certain things you wouldn't take. And even in communicating that which you don't like, you did this you did this to me. I do not like this. This is how it made me feel. If you did something to me and I come to you and I say, Thelma, I came in here, I said hello to you. You didn't respond. It made me feel, and I didn't feel good. I treasure my relationship with you, and I wouldn't want something to happen in my relationship with you. Can you please not do so next time? How would that make you feel? Or I come and say, Thelma, you're always doing this. How would that make you feel? I'm just reminded about two ladies who were at work. They were having a conversation, just like we are having a conversation. Part of self-love also is understanding where the other person is. Empathy, putting your feet in the shoes of the other person. So these two ladies were having this conversation, okay? And another lady walks in and begins to mutter. Imagine we're here now, somebody comes in. What are you doing here? What kind of nonsense is this? And the first lady gets up and begins to rant and shout at her, your father, how can you abuse me? And the second person says, oh, she must be having a bad day.
Oh.
Probably there's something. I'll find time when she's calmed down and talk to her.
Good one.
Do you see self-love?
Yeah.
It's not about you. It's about empathy.
Yeah.
It's about communication. Can you imagine if we have a society where everybody thinks about the other person, where our leaders put the other, that's the communities, the needs of communities? It will affect every aspect of our lives. In traffic, somebody beats the traffic. Oh, let him be.
Yeah.
It doesn't matter.
Okay.
Somebody does this, we begin to cut people's slack. We
Cut
begin to
people's
understand
slack.
Yes, we begin to understand this person's pain. We begin to understand what can I. So you now begin to think of what can I do to make the life better for the other person.
Wow.
Wouldn't it be amazing?
Amazing indeed, amazing indeed.
Where everybody thinks that. So this is the essence of self-love. So when we talk about self-love, let's not think spa. Those things are good. I wouldn't like to.
Very good.
Very good. Let's
pass.
So I'm not against it, but it's
But
only
that's
a
not the
tiny,
entire.
It's only a tiny fraction.
It's funny how self-love, from the two words, self, it's about you and loving, but actually it's about everybody around you. Because it's only when you truly love yourself that you can love the next person. We're going on the break. We are not done yet. The conversation is just getting started, so don't go away.
Coat of arms is the official seal that represents the authority of the Federal Republic of Nigeria, hung on the wall behind the seat of the principal officer of the government, supported by the portrait of the serving president of the Federal Republic of Nigeria. It has 7 features. The black shield stands for Good Earth of Nigeria. The silver wavy band stands for the confluence of rivers Niger and Benue. The 2 white horses stands for dignity. The yellow flora is a common wildflower throughout Nigeria. The red eagle stands for strength. The wreath is in our national colors of green, white, green. The motto, unity and faith, peace and progress, is written on a beautiful yellow ribbon, and it's a maxim for all Nigerians. Be a real Nigerian.
I think Amaka should just move out of the house. Yes.
No. Standing out of the house is not the right thing to do.
Oh, there you go again with your sentimental family stuff.
Baby, if our aim is to stop this affair, it is best achieved under our roof.
You do something terrible and you'll be acting innocent.
What are you going on about?
Don't ask me that question again. You couldn't even control yourself in the presence of our visitors.
What are you accusing me of, woman?
My son, I don't know how serious you are with my daughter, but there's something that needs to be done urgently before you move any further.
Anything, just anything, just say it. I'm ready to do anything.
There is a spell that needs to be removed.
A spell?
Family forever. The story of our lives.
From the Atlantic across the savannah to the Sahara, we rise, a land of the free, we know they tire. We dream great, our spirit is undying.
Resilient, rooted like palm tree, we sway in colors, we turn dark into light, we bet solutions, we ignite passion, yeah. Ethnicity is unique, we have more than just a nation.
We are Nigeria, we are Nigeria, strengthening unity, we know they carry lives. We are Nigeria, we are Nigeria, together live the dream of a land with great destiny. We are Nigeria.
I am the real Nigerian. Brought to you by the National Orientation Agency, NOA.
Welcome to Silver Oasis.
Silver Oasis, a TV series dedicated to aging and older persons in Nigeria. Be part of this series and discover the transformative programs crafted to give a new lease of life to our senior citizens, courtesy of the National Senior Citizen Center.
The National Senior Citizen Center is the oasis for the senior citizens.
For thought-provoking discussions on aging, geriatric social care, and issues that matter most to our senior citizens.
Silver Oasis.
Silver Oasis.
Silver Oasis.
Tune in to Silver Oasis on the network service of the NTA every Saturday at 10:05 p.m. Silver Oasis, improving the quality of lives of senior citizens.
You know, learning is living, and living is aspiring and admitting that you don't know everything. When we learn, it helps us to unlearn what is no longer useful, and where possible, relearn what else we need to know to sustain ourselves and also empower and enable others. I've learned so much today already, and your messages are coming in, but something tells me that it may be time for some music, and we're going to rock our usual bass. You were with us yesterday, right? Today, guess what? It's not Fuji House of Commotion, no, but she's Fuji of a sort, and he's right here, live. Fuji!
Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Gbogbo etí tó ń wò mí, etí yín ò ní di láéláé. Gbogbo ojú tó ń wò mí, ojú yín ò ní fọ́. Ọlá àlùbáríkà síwájú ẹ̀dá tó ń jẹ́ Muhammad. Ìkẹ́ àtọ́lá kó máa bá òjíṣẹ́ ńlá. Ọlọ́ládé adé lèmi jẹ́ Muhammadu Kọ́símù lórúkọ tèmi. Agbólóhùn tó pọ̀ bí ọ̀jẹ̀. Àlùbáríkà ọmọ bàbá ẹsẹ̀ rí kí ìbá Ọlọ́run ìbá tènìyàn. Àdúrà mi sọ Ọlọ́run ọba NTA làwà yìí. International kárí ayé gbogbo. Ọlọ́ládé mọ́dé agbólóhùn tó pọ̀ bí ọjà o. Àlùbáríkà ti dé ọmọ bàbá ẹ̀ Sẹ́ríkì agbólóhùn tó pọ̀. Kí n tó ṣe ń gbogbo fẹ́lẹ́ Èdùmàrè máa dúpẹ́ fọlọ́hun mi ọba tó ṣẹ̀dá mi. Ọba tó ṣẹ̀dá onílé tó ṣẹ̀dá àlejò. Dákun máa padà lẹ́yìn mi mo fọlá ọjọ́ ẹni bẹ́ẹ̀. Àlùbáríkà lọ́jọ́ ẹni kọ́mpúsà. Ìbà gbogbo etí tó ń gbóhùn mi pátá. Kí n tó ṣe ń gbogbo ìbà lọ́wọ́ fádà mi. Mr. Fuji fúnra Àyìndé Balógun. Àyìndé Balógun, Mr. Fuji Balógun. Orin èdè Síkírù mi Àyìndé Balógun ọmọ Adákẹ́jà bí èṣù láyẹyẹ. Kọ́lọ́hun ọba kó foríjà l'Àyìndé. Nítorí pé ohun tí mò ń lò yìí máa ṣe bá lọ́wọ́ Sẹ́ríkì wákà bàbá ọba Àlàyìndé tèmi bàbá olóyè ẹ̀mẹ́fàrò. Ọlọ́run ọba bá mi foríjà l'Àyìndé pàṣìṣe mọ́ Ọlọ́run ọba. Ọlọ́run kó wọlá gbólóhùn wàláhólà wàlá kùwàtà ìlà àbíláyà líhùlíàsì gbogbo ọmọ Nàìjíríà.
Immediately. Well done, well done. And I know a lot of people wondering, but I just like Lady Okay's perspective on this one. Please tell us. Yes.
Yeah, so we did say something, when he was, singing, and I said, a huge part of self-love is by being authentic. If you listen to him, that is his authenticity. He's a Fuji person. His voice carried the message. He wouldn't sit there and be singing R&B. That would not be him. So a lot of times we fake it. And they say you fake it to make it. Until your fake it becomes your break it. So you fake it to make it, and then you keep, as you are faking it to make it, your fake it becomes your break it.
Yeah. Okay.
So you've got to be
fake it. What you need to do?
You've got to be authentically
Keep
you.
it real.
Embrace yourself, whether society says it's right or wrong. Self-love is you set the boundaries. You are who you are.
Yes.
A huge part of self-love is your purpose, who you are. Purpose is at the core of who you are. It's your authenticity. It's what defines you. It's your total makeup, your abilities, your talents, your skills, your personality, whether you are introverted or extroverted. So it's all of that makes you unique. I can't be Patience, I can't be Thelma. I'm Lady Okay. You can't be Lady Okay. You are potentially and authentically Thelma. Yes. You are amazingly and beautifully Patient. Yes. So by the time you try to become Lady Okay, you lose a part of your authenticity.
Exactly. You know, I've always wondered, and this is going, I'm veering towards mental health.
Okay.
Where you see a beautiful woman or a very good-looking man living the best of lives, and all of a sudden you hear this person takes his own life. This person is depressed, and you're wondering, this woman is living a life that everybody wants to live. This one is living a life that we think is a fairy tale. Where is the depression coming from? Where is the wanting to take one's life coming from? So what is that thing? Is it because people are not authentic, or they are living life to please people? Can you speak to that?
Yes. First of all, let me say this. Let's not assume that everybody who dresses well, who looks nice, everything is 100% okay. Let's not assume that. Let's try and be discerning as human beings. When you get into a space, I've learned to begin to do that. You look around, you ask, how are you? And when you say, how are you, can you really mean it? How are you? It's not, how are you is not the greeting. Can it come from your heart? How are you? Let me speak to the situation, you know. So you see that person who has everything put together. Society is hailing you. Oh, yes. You look amazing. Yes. So she finds it difficult to open up. What will they say? What will they say has sent a lot of people to their graves? Oh my God. What would they think of me? The person is looking nice. Yes, you bought clothes that have been in your wardrobe. Even when you don't have money, the clothes will still be there. Yes. So you wear the clothes, but there's nothing in your bank account, and you haven't eaten. But you are ashamed to speak. What would they say? What would they say of me? What would they think of my family? My husband has this, you know, what would you know? That reputation. So that's one of the barriers that prevent people from speaking up. Yes. So they wouldn't want to speak up. Another thing is, when I tell you, you carry my business and go and spread it. So this self-love is all-encompassing. It's so broad, it's so wide. It's about being your neighbor's keeper. So I tell you my business, and the next thing I'm hearing it from Stella, and I'm hearing it from Frank, and all of that.
But can I ask you something? Because mental health is leading us into very unusual crevices, and it's creeping up in ways we never expected. In fact, if we examine it rationally, everyone has a tendency to have a mental health problem if you don't manage yourself well. As we speak, life is tough, and it's not just on finances. Living, we need to be tough to exist. So is it that people are born with mental health challenge, or is the rigors of life that assails them to the extent where somebody will say, I give up? Because what Patience was saying was, there are people, you talked about money, a woman say, maybe I don't have. Some people have. All those things we are desirous of, they have it. Home looks perfect. Is it because maybe your husband cheats or your wife cheats, you just go and do something amazing? Was that mental thing already there from the get-go, or did it just come because of that? And if somebody, let me just tie something to it. The person who's going through this trauma, so to speak, is he or she aware that something is not right? Because sometimes some may not even know that there's something wrong, or how to even put it in words to get the help they need.
Yeah, that's a very good question, Thelma. Yeah. So let me say this: mental health issues have different causes. Some are genetic. Some are genetic. Some, of course, situational. The things that you pass through in life, you know, become a burden, an infirmity, so to speak, and affect your mental health. Okay, certain personality types are prone to, you know, mental health issues. You know, although there's this terminology, ocean, a personality type, openness to experience, conscientiousness, sorry, it's big grammar, extroversion, agreeableness, and neuroticism. The N, neuroticism. People who are high on neuroticism are very prone to mental health issues because they focus on only what is wrong. And the brain is a pattern matching organ. It prefers to focus on what is wrong. So those kinds of, the brain prefers to focus. That's why you see bad news.
So do you train your brain?
Okay. So I'll come to that. So I'm just trying to talk about the causes of. So it could be genetic. It could be situational. It could be due to your personality type. And I agree with you that some people are going through things they don't even understand, particularly those who are subject to emotional abuse. Physical abuse is easy to see.
Yes.
Do you know that you could be emotional? You don't even know it. You don't know. You just wonder, what is wrong with me? I had a situation where a woman was so abused by her husband, a PhD holder, a doctor. She couldn't remember her name. And you stayed there. You're taking it.
Oh.
So you don't know. And that's why I would always say, please speak to somebody. Whatever it is that you are going through, our spirit speaks. So your mind is telling you that this is not okay. This is not right. Look for a trusted person. Speak to a professional. Speak to a psychologist. Speak to a counselor. Speak to a trusted friend. But speak. Healing starts with sharing. I'll take that again. Healing starts with sharing. Wow. You've got to share. You've got to speak up. Because as in sharing, you gain a different perspective. I have an issue and I say, Thelma, this is what I'm going through. You're going to give me insights that I didn't even think about on my own. You will tell, so this, and I'll say, okay. And I begin to have light bulbs begin to go, okay, okay, so yes. Because I've shared with you and you're giving me your own insight. But it has to be...
Bolidi, in the course of this conversation, it would be nice for you as we talk to address whatever is left of stigma that people are attached to mental health issues. It sounds quite unfair. In the way life is unveiling.
Okay. So mental health issues is not madness.
The NTA Port Harcourt has been wanting and itching to join this conversation. You know how we go around. So NTA Port Harcourt will be looking at self-love and its impact on family and the society at large. NTA Port Harcourt, show us.
Important as a woman, because you can't give what you do not have. So as a woman, you need to take it upon yourself to validate yourself, believe in yourself, love yourself. Who said you can't go out and take a photograph in a studio? Who said you can't host yourself in a personal dinner? What you have not done for yourself, don't expect another person to do it.
For women, embracing self-love means valuing their worth, prioritizing their well-being, and setting boundaries that protect their physical and emotional health. Self-love is the foundation of a fulfilled life. Josephine is a young lady who struggled with self-love as she sought validation through achievements and commitments to relationships. But nothing filled the void.
Growing up in a family as the eldest, and you're bucked with the responsibility of making sure everybody is okay, and having a mom that was not available, which was not her fault because she had to go to work and also run her business. I was bucked with the responsibility of taking care of my siblings and making sure everyone was okay. But that turned to a bigger problem because I was meant to do things that were way beyond me, and my dad kept finding fault in things I did. Even though he never meant it as a harm, it harmed me in several ways that affected my adult life. As an adult, I struggled with the ability to accept myself. I think I always have this notion that I have to hustle to be accepted. I have to do things for people to like me. I have to become what people want me to become for them to accept me. So this led to a poor self-image where I struggled with accepting myself. It kept repeating from place to place. And I asked myself, is it possible that everybody I meet does not like me? What could be the issue? And I had to go back. I took a travel down to my childhood, and I recognized that I never felt love as a child. I struggled to get love from my parents. I struggled to get attention from my parents.
Grace was also bullied by her peers due to her skin color. And as she grew older, the pressure to fit into society's mold of beauty and success only deepened her insecurities.
My struggle with self-love
began at my teenage age. I went out with my friends and they always make jests of me about my complexion. Ah, Grace, you are black. Ah, this your blackness. It go fit make person even burn charcoal. You know, they just make it look as if I'm a charcoal. I'm as dark as a charcoal, you know. And they'll even say, if NEPA take light, we go use torchlight, they find you. That's just their code. And I'll start crying, I'll run inside the house. And my sister is light-skinned, so what I do is I just go and use her cream and rub myself. And I noticed over time, I noticed I started itching my body, you know, and I felt, okay, this could be from the cream. So I stopped using the cream.
Self-love is the seed of a thriving community. It enables women to embrace their imperfections and find strength in their uniqueness.
I got baptized and I knew Christ for myself. And that was when I started having this self-confidence, you know. I just started talking to the mirror. I started declaring to myself, I said, you're beautiful. You are awesome. You are perfect. You don't need anybody to tell you what to do or who you are. You are beautiful. And that was when after this self-confidence, I noticed people started, Grace, you're beautiful. Oh, wow. Can I know what cream do you use? So smooth, like a baby skin. And I'm like, okay, thank you, you know. But I first of all healed, you know, within.
And so I started replacing negative thoughts with positive thoughts. I told myself, I am this. This is what God says about me. I remember one of my birthday, I prayed to God that please, I need a new heart and a new mind. And that was when the journey began. God said, I started reading materials that talked about loving yourself. I met wonderful people. So I wrote down on a paper the old me, things that were in me that I didn't like, and things that I want to become now. This actually really helps me, because if you don't see what you want to become, there's no way you can become that person.
If your family is going to be bubbling and happy, it depends majorly on the woman. Let's look at self-esteem and confidence. How can you raise confident children when you are still battling with low self-esteem? So self-love is that thing that makes you understand that you need to put so much into you, because there is a generation that you are raising.
A loved woman is an empowered woman, and an empowered woman changes the world. Her family grows stronger and the society flourishes.
Port Harcourt, you're hitting so many nails. Wow, nice. Dotting your I's and crossing your T's. Thank you for nourishing our conversation. Perhaps it's time to check what our viewers are saying, because they're watching and no doubt they are learning. Someone says, good morning, my adorable sisters. Thank you so much. And said the key to achieving self-love seems to be the ability to learn to forgive one another. This is very vital in life's existence. People are going through a lot of turmoils all over the world. Good morning, my beautiful sisters. Please, this musician, Mr. Kazeem Kikiola, is he a blood relative of late Dr. Sikura Yinde Barrister? I'm sure they enjoyed the music so much. They want to know who your relatives are. We'll get the info later. Someone says, Thelma and Patience, I love what you're wearing today. Did you see our guest? She came in super steezed up. But anyway, Bashir from Maiduguri says, love you both, love what you do. Please keep it up. Mohammed Bashir from Maiduguri.
Hi, Mohammed.
Someone now brings in something we discussed here about narcissism. It says, where does narcissistic overrating of oneself come in to this discussion? People tend to confuse that with self-love, but I know there's a difference. Please tell her to tell us more. This is Chidi KG for let me just take one more. Good morning, Weekend Deal. Always on top of your game. Thank you. I love this topic, self-love. It builds the nation. It's building the nation, especially as you are speaking to it. When you are happy, Your environment will be happy. My name is Solomon Samuel from Gombe. Okay, thank you. And we're going to delve into deprivation. So let's align that with the messages we're getting.
So before I talk about deprivation, there was the first message that came talked about, talks about forgiveness being an important aspect of self-love.
Yeah.
I was talking about the work of self-love beginning from within. And I talked about self-awareness as the first building block. I talked about self-acceptance. I talked about self-regard. I didn't complete it as self-forgiveness. A lot of times we talk about forgiveness of the other person who has offended you, but there's self-forgiveness. A lot of us are carrying the weight of past mistakes. You've got to make peace with your younger self. There are certain things you did when you were much younger you didn't know. If you knew, you wouldn't have done it. People have done so many terrible things, and as they grow, they carry that weight, and it prevents them from moving forward, and they get stuck. So self-forgiveness is very critical. Self-belief is another one. We doubt ourselves a lot as women, and so we don't put ourselves out there. We don't assert our identities. We limit ourselves to certain rules. Because, of course, society has limited us.
Yeah.
But then we add to that insult by limiting ourselves because of self-doubt. I just thought I needed to put that.
Sometimes, just before you delve into deprivation, when you have taken a risk, because you're always urged, everybody looking for multiple income streams now, for example, and you delve into one area and say, let me try, because I know I can assist in that regard. When the door is locked to use it in a friendly way, it will diminish the confidence. Now,
let me tell you what you do.
Yeah, sure. What ought you to do?
Let me tell you, self-reflection.
Okay.
You go back into your drawing board, because it's not every closed door that they slammed in your face. So how did I do this? What went wrong? What would I do differently? What approach? So self-reflection is it's one of the ways you build your self-love. In everything you do, go back. I'm a very introspective person. I do a lot of self-reflection. What did I do? Would I have done this wrong? Would I have done this a different way next time? What else would I have done differently? So that would help. So by the time you have answers to this, you would know if, should I keep pushing in this direction? Or should I, no, this is not for me. And that's why I said your values and your principles are a huge part of your self-love. This is not an alignment with my values. No, this is a no-no for me. And all of that. So you back out and then you try another angle. If you get into the habit of doing self-reflections, it builds your resilience. It builds your resilience. You know, I'm going after this because I know I am worthy of this. And I have the skills and I have the talents to do this. So now let's talk about deprivation. We were talking about this, during the break, and it's an angle of self-love that we need to, talk about. So when you deprive somebody, so Maslow's hierarchy of needs, that's another big grammar, and I'm sorry about it. Simply put, it's just every human being has basic needs. Food, shelter, the need to be treated with dignity. Have you seen where certain people who are on the lower ladder, and I'm not saying this is bad, maybe like a security man, all of that, where you insult them, do you see the anger? It's something that is being stirred up in that person, because everybody, irrespective of your status, your position, you have the right to be treated with dignity, because you are a human being first, before you are that role that you are. So when you deprive people of dignity, and we see what is going on in society, the cost of living is, increasing. You know what that's doing? A father who used to afford eggs as breakfast for his child, when he gets to a situation where he cannot afford to put egg on the table for his son, and the child is saying, "Daddy, we can't have eggs this morning." Do you know what that does to that father? You are depriving him of his sense of dignity as a father. So there is the danger of this is that there is a limit to which the human being mind can take. That's why they say when you push somebody to the wall, So as we keep depriving people of certain things, shelter, food, even basic things, a crate of eggs, as at the last time, was 9,000 or something. Cost of living is increasing. We don't know why, but people are, certain things that used to be on the breakfast table just disappearing. Start disappearing one after the other, one after the other. And that's a cause for concern. When it
Indeed,
comes to
it's a
self-love,
cause
it is
for
a cause for
concern,
concern.
and,
Since so you see the different angles we are approaching self-love.
Yeah.
So the person who used to think that self-love was all about, self-care and all of that.
Yes, it's all encompassing. It's
deeper.
deep.
Yeah.
And if we really situate it properly, our society will be better.
Yeah.
Now, NTA we'll be taking a look at the impact of self-love in a workspace. Asaba.
Wow, that's deep.
It's inside now. Yeah. Dada is there. Yes, it is good girls that make good mothers. Parents and caregivers play a vital role in modeling positive self-talk, celebrating their daughters' unique qualities and achievements, encouraging them to pursue their passions.
I came for Omugo, then I just told myself, instead of just doing Omugo alone, why not just... So my in-law now went to look for a fashion house. He now registered for me. I now started learning fashion. So as the baby got to like a month or something, we're now going to put the baby in the crèche. So I'll go learn my fashion, I'll finish, I'll go pick up the baby, come home, just like that. So luckily, 2 months or 3 months into the strike, they called off the strike. So I just learned fashion for like 2 months and 2 weeks, so thereabouts. So that was when I went back to school. So what I just did, the moment I landed school, I went to get a sewing machine, second hand, and started sewing in school. There I was, working on the skills. One thing that actually kept me going was my passion for the fashion. So after youth service, I came back to Delta State. I was living with my sister. So I was like, okay, let me look for a job. I still was not sure if I was going to do this thing full time. So let me look for a job. So I started looking for a job. Look for where. That's when I knew, okay, this is a sign that you're not supposed to do any job. This is a sign that you should concentrate on this fashion. So what I started doing, started making different office outfits for her. She would go to the office, they say, this outfit is fine. Who made it? It's my sister. Before I knew it, contract started coming in, Started working in her. So she gave me one room. The room had my machine. And before I knew, I bought second machine in that one room. My table, the ironing table, I turned it to my cutting table, So that was how the fashion just started. Then luckily, God has a way of doing things. Some of the customers that I started having, sometimes they will give me their own outfit that they've made maybe in Abuja or Lagos and say, look at this outfit, replicate it for me the way it is. I'll take the outfit home. I will lose the outfit. Look at the way they made it inside, in and out. Couple it back and make theirs. That was how I got better. So I used that same drive on my workers, Put in the effort. If they do something, I tell them to lose it and start again. My own is for you to get it. Because at the end of the day, it's still going to be for your own benefits. And you'll be happy that, you did it right.
Employees who practice self-love tend to have more confidence in their abilities, which allows them to take on challenges, voice their ideas, and make meaningful contributions without being hindered by self-doubt or negative self-talk.
It's okay to complain, but there are certain words you shouldn't use. You can actually kill the person's self-esteem, no matter how courageous the person is. So in order to avoid, questioning if I'm okay, if I'm still good in this business and all that, let me just avoid that client so that I'll have my, peace of mind and mental health will still be intact. So if you love yourself, you wouldn't want to impress the other person. Your first go-to will be myself. Let me work on myself. Then after working on myself, then you'll be able to please someone else. So there are women also who think about themselves first. Women who are conscious of their careers and all that. I put myself in that category because right from when I was young, I don't give up. Hustling round the clock, hard working. So I always tell women, whatever you do, you're helping yourself.
Self-love also promotes better self-care, enabling people to manage stress more effectively, maintain work-life balance, and avoid burnout, resulting in more consistent engagement and productivity over the long term.
I've been patronizing her and also give her some jobs. In terms of their finishing, the clothes she has been making, I can recommend her for anybody, not just only in Nigeria, anywhere in the world.
She's a nice person. She knows how to treat her customers well.
It's a woman that supports and also give courage to her workers. So she's very good. She's a great woman.
When women are empowered to love and accept themselves fully, they can step into their power, build fulfilling lives, and uplift others around them, creating a positive ripple effect for generations to come.
It's Weekend Deal, a effervescent breakfast show on Saturday and Sunday, only on the NTA, where issues that affect us positively, negatively, or extra-wise are brought to the center table. And we also engage experts who can come and nourish our conversation and provide clarity and enlightenment, just like today. That's why we are so, in fact, we're so enamored with Lady OK, because the areas she's delving into, if we had not had her today, how would we be better informed? We thank you again, Lady OK.
Thank you.
You know, so much was going on behind the scenes, you know. And I was looking at our young children and I was saying, if at this age and stage, you know, I'm learning all of this, you know, and we're already seeing some negative patterns in the young ones. And in some cases, we cannot be hands-on. They are not our children. Where all this conversation to start from and how?
Oh. Okay, so, you know, we've got to empathize with the young ones. Technology. You know, we grew up in a time where there was no technology. Now, technology is in their face. So it can even be confusing for them because they're hearing this, they're hearing that, and they're hearing that. But I would say a good place to start is to begin to teach values about humanity. I think maybe because of the things we're going through or we've gone through as a society, our humanity, we are being stripped of our humanity. There is now the lines between what is right and what is wrong, you would agree with me, is blurred. We are living in a time where we don't even know what is right anymore and what is wrong. So we need to get down to the roots. Where do we find our children? In the schools, in the religious areas. Those times we had communities, you know, village squares and all of that, where you gather children, but we don't have those things anymore. So the question we need to ask ourselves, where are the children? And wherever the children are, how can we begin to instill teaching them about kindness, about service? These children these days, do they know what it means to serve, really serve? Do they know about contribution? Or is it just about, let me work and get money? So those basic, you know, values and principles of humanity, we need to begin to teach them. Wherever children are gathered, as I said, in the nursery schools, and it's never too young to begin to teach them. And parents, you know, I hear instances of, you know, a school corrects your child and the parents go there and the parents, they go there and they fight. And it breaks my heart. Are we losing it as parents? Do we need to call ourselves back into order? There's something, there's a place, there's something that is, you know, that is not right. Probably we need to start the education from ourselves as parents and beginning to think that so that we can instill the right values to our
but doesn't it depend on the type of correction? Because recently we saw a viral video where a teacher, the stomps a 5-year-old was getting, it was breaking the hearts of so many people that the video went viral in less than 10 hours to the extent that police was called. So perhaps for some guardians and parents, it's the mode of correction.
The mode of correction. Because you want to ask yourself at the end of the day, what's the essence of my correcting this person? Am I correcting this person because I want to dehumanize this person? Am I correcting this person because I want to instill fear? A lot of times, particularly maybe for teachers, that they want to instill fear, but that's not the essence of correction. The essence of correction, if you know what the essence of correction is, that the essence of correction is, I want to make this person a better person. I want this person to unlearn and relearn and to be better. Would you say slapping that person would make that person learn already? It would just make the person rebel. So we've got to know what exactly is the aim of that correction in the first place. So when you have the goal of the correction, then you know the method of correction to use. You want to make that person a better person at the end of the day.
Indeed.
Okay,
because by the time you hit and beat and this, you're causing that person to rebel and even become worse.
It's obvious that self-love is deeper,
it's deep,
bigger than we think. And if we really do it right, like I said before, then we'll get a whole lot right. And also know that one of the first steps into the journey for self-love is self-audit. You need to sit down with yourself and truly audit yourself. After doing that, you're on the path to self-love. And now, NTA, Christy Akpa also will be telling us practical steps to take in your journey for self-love.
From creation, women were adorable creatures, a beauty to behold. A combination of motherland and family caring made them an outstanding species. However, over time, women have paid more attention to childbearing and family survival, with no much to self-care or self-love.
As long as you are an existing being, your body, your mind, your spirit should be looked after. It should be tendered. And how do you do this? You give yourself a me time by taking a spa treatment. When you go to have a facial treatment, it's not just about the beauty aspect. There's going to be blood circulation, exfoliation, relaxation of the muscles. So you rejuvenate. When you go for a body scrub, it relaxes your body. You have lymphatic drainage. You have flow of energy. You have flow of blood. It reduces the blood pressure, the tension, the stress. It calms you down and helps blood to flow better into your brain. Because what women think, in fact, is just too many.
No thanks to some cultures and religions, which tend to keep women a classless being, especially in the village and rural areas.
I would encourage every woman to imbibe is looking at yourself that you are made beautifully. It doesn't matter the level of education you have, the level of exposure, the financial capability. Just know that you are wonderfully created.
Many thumbs up to Belgium Conference, where women can now realize that they can still play the role of a mother and wife while taking time to look after themselves.
Women control the earth. A woman packed with positive energy can do a lot more and be more creative. You see a mother who hasn't been to school and has a child who can sing rhymes before getting into school. Meanwhile, the mother is not educated. But because of the right energy that she carries with her, the positive energy, that I am a woman, I am capable of doing anything I want, I set my heart at, and I am at peace, in harmony with my spiritual self, with my mind, with my body, I'm okay and contented. It will push a woman towards positive direction.
A therapist who believes that a woman can still play her role much better if she equally devotes time to take good care of herself.
You know, saying no has to do with the quality of your boundaries. You have porous boundaries, you have rigid boundaries, and you have healthy boundaries. Porous boundaries are people that just do not know how to say no. They overstretch themselves and overstretch themselves and overstretch themselves. And they're collapsing, and they're getting sick, and they're still overstretching themselves. They allow strangers into their private space, and they can never say no to anybody. But that's not healthy. You can develop mental illness, and you're still saying yes to everybody. You have to be able to say no some of the time. You have to be able to preserve your personal space. You have to have healthy relationships where people respect your boundaries. You don't have to keep making yourself uncomfortable and you're still saying yes to everybody. That is not healthy emotionally for you or your loved ones. And so it's very important for your mental health that you learn how to say no.
If you tend to live long and healthy, in order to take care of your family and play a role in the societal development, apply the principle of self-care and self-love. You will be glad you did.
You know, I was trying to copy that her style, but she wouldn't let me. Whenever I tried to imitate her, she would change the step. So the party ended, I did not learn any of Patience's latest dance steps. Okay, it's always great to have such light-hearted moments. It enables us to feel free and we're refreshed. You know, when we're talking behind the scenes earlier, Patience Dan brought up some areas. She talked about setting healthy boundaries without offending the next person, and also by expressing self-love without seeming to be selfish.
Okay.
But there are lines, right?
That's a good question, and I'm laughing because of what you said. How do you set boundaries, without offending the person? And the first thing I like to say is that setting boundaries is not about verbalizing it, saying, see, this is my boundary. No. Setting boundaries is about living your life in accordance with your values and your principles and putting it out there. Haven't you seen certain people that you say, no Chris near Kunle, don't do that kind of person near Kunle at all. If you love your peace, don't just Chris near Kunle. What has happened is that Kunle has lived his life over time, lived his life in a way that his values are very clear. His principles are very clear. Everybody has seen Kunle. Kunle is a principled, disciplined. Kunle doesn't do this. So no just create that kind of Chris near Kunle at all. So you find what happens is that people are now the ones helping you to establish the boundaries.
Wow.
When they come in your presence, they arrange themselves properly. Because they know that, this is who you are. And as I said, we teach people how to treat us. It's not like you're going to put a black book and say, A, this is how to treat me. B, no, that's not what it means when we say we teach people how to treat us. It means that you live your full, authentic self in a way that is obvious to everybody. So when they are doing certain kinds of things that are not in alignment with your values, they don't even bother with you. They don't come near you with those kinds of things. They don't say certain things where you are. They don't do certain things near you. That's setting boundaries.
Nice.
So it's not about shouting and saying, this is my boundaries, don't cross it. When you begin to do that, then something is wrong. There's a misalignment somewhere. You're not living in accordance with your values and your principles.
Indeed. Yeah. Let me just take one message, please. There are many. Don't Patience, just 1 second.
Okay, no
Somebody says, Thelma and Patience, God bless you. The way you have been doing this weekend deal, I so enjoyed. But let me say a special thanks to your guest. You must bring her over and over again. And it's my hope that Nigerians are listening. Dr. Sanisi Eneljo Abdul.
Oh, thank you
Thank
so
you.
much, Doctor.
Thank
We
you.
appreciate
Thank you for your kind words.
Yes.
Yeah, thank you.
Yeah, so let's, we have to look at our papers because want to know what's going on around us. Okay, thank you so much, Godwin. Today it's all about self-love. And with Lady OK, we now know that self-love is huge. If I love me, then I can love you. If I love me, then I can do things right in the office. If I love me, then as a leader, I will ensure that my community, my country is good. Anyway, the messages are coming in. You're joining the conversation. Thelma, what do you have?
I'm smiling because of this message we have. And I don't know, our guests can speak to it, but perhaps we too can add our voice because we know the plan that series has been orchestrating for the last almost 2 months. Our guest, Ola from Abuja, says, is self-love really about women?
Yes,
only said the same thing. It's only your reports the last how many weeks and months is women. Abba, women we are watching. Don't make me feel like it's a crime to be a man. Please, I want your guests to talk about it.
So, but everything we've talked about so far, we haven't really focused on women, have
like
we?
Leadership and all.
But it's going
being
beyond
kind,
today.
Yeah, okay.
The last 2 months or so, we're celebrating women.
No, not at all. Not at all. It's for, so everything we've talked about, self-acceptance, is critical for a man as well.
Yeah.
Particularly for, why self-love is even more important in the areas we've talked about for a man, because the man is the leader of the house.
Yes.
He sets the tone for everything that. So when the man, when his self-love, his self-acceptance, his self-awareness, his self-regard is top-notch, he creates a nurturing environment.
Yes.
An environment where everybody feels nurtured, where everybody feels, where everybody feels loved, everybody feels cared for. In the office, we talked about the office as well. When you have a boss, a leader, a team leader, a line manager who's high on self-regard, who's high on self-acceptance, self-awareness, and self-love, creates a culture where, where a high performance culture, where the teams, where they are united where people feel valued. And, performance, cohesion, engagement is at its peak when people feel valued. So it's even much more important for the men because naturally, as I say, in the home, men tend to be the leaders, of communities, political spaces. We have more men up there. So they create the environment. They determine, the culture of that environment.
And when they miss it, people are bleeding all over each other.
People are bleeding, yes.
Exactly.
Yes.
Oh, wow.
So
This
Sule,
self-love is
if
deep.
you are watching Sule, men, you
Yeah.
need self-love. You all need self-love.
You know what it means to stay in
I know
an
Sule
environment.
Sule.
Yes.
Oh,
Yeah.
Our Sule.
Okay, self-love is deep. Someone says, hello, my sisters. Does your guest have an office in Jos?
In Abuja. I have an office in Abuja, not in Jos.
Okay. Someone
I'm based
says,
in Abuja.
hello, Weekend Deal. I consider self-love as making someone happy, not just accumulating wealth or spending only on yourself. But it's also the ability for someone to tap the blessing of God in your life whenever possible. Because the person you are with may have more blessing than you. So you can tap into that blessing and celebrate everyone around. I don't fully comprehend that. Okay, so when people around you are not happy and you are the only one celebrating, it shows that there's something wrong. They say, please, let's always help those around us. It might not always be financial. Adamu Shalangwa from Damaturu.
Okay.
I'll just take two more. Self-love. I always feel rejected whenever I find myself, wherever I find myself. I've been rejected in so many places, and it has made me forget myself. I mean, obviously, self-worth is being
diminished.
He said, this has made me venture into drinking excessively and smoking. He said, please advise me, what should I do? Isaac Bala is reaching us from Old Airport in Sokoto. Want to address that now?
Yeah, I'd like to address that. I wish the person had spoken to somebody. Remember I said healing starts with sharing. In the place of counseling is a safe space where people can pour, and then you're not telling the person what to do, you're making the person see from a different perspective. If I have that person as a client talking to that person, there are certain questions I would ask the person, I'll make the person see that rejection from a different perspective. There's something I tell to my clients all the time, and I'll say it here. Nothing means anything except the meaning that you give to it. And the meaning that you give to it is not the only meaning. Options are always available.
That's deep.
Nothing means anything except the meaning that you give to it. So what do I mean by that? I walk into this place and Thelma is so nasty to me, so rude. I mean, why did she even come here, Seth? And her face is like this. The natural tendency I'll start feeling rejected. Maybe I don't look nice. Maybe I don't. That affects my self-worth. And that's what's happening to that person. But I could say, it's not about me. It's about Thelma. There's nothing wrong with me. So what are you telling yourself? Reframing it's a skill I use in counseling. It's helping the person reframe that experience in such a way that it doesn't impact negatively on you. Wow. So a lot of the times we're focusing on the situation, on what is wrong. Okay? But can we begin to, because we don't have any control over that.
Yeah. Over people.
We don't have any control over that. But what is our interpretation to whatever it is? I call those things stimulus. Whatever happens, I call them stimulus.
Yes.
You're being nasty to me. I don't have money. All of those are stimulus.
So
and we encounter stimulus every time. From the moment you wake up, you're encountering stimulus. Somebody is saying something like, the traffic is this. All those are stimulus. So we are so focused on stimulus. But the problem is that a lot of times we cannot control stimulus.
Our reaction to that
See,
stimulus.
when things happen to you, you don't just react. There's a chain of reaction that occurs unconsciously. You give an interpretation to that thing that has happened. That interpretation makes you, evokes a certain feeling inside of you. The feeling makes you think certain things. That thinking makes you take action. So if your interpretation to that thing is negative, it spirals down. It affects how you feel. A negative feeling makes you to take a negative action leading to a negative outcome.
Beautiful. Please, before we go, I need us to talk about accepting our imperfections.
Yeah.
And I'm going to go through to what is going on now, plastic surgery. At what point?
I'm just going to take one message.
Oh my goodness!
It's like we should go on to 1 p.m.
I
right?
think we should go on to 1 p.m. Does it mean if I go in and alter my body and I say I want my nose to be a certain way, I want my eyes to be a certain way, or my behind to look a certain way, does it mean I don't love myself, or is it self-love that will make me go on that journey?
Very interesting question. Remember I said the first building block of self-love is self-awareness and self-acceptance. Knowing what your values are. If your like, I know what my values and my principles are, and I know I will never do plastic surgery. I'm not saying it's wrong.
Yeah.
I'm not saying it's right.
Yes.
But when you know what your values are, you live your life in a way that is in alignment with your values. Now, self-acceptance doesn't mean that you don't do anything that about that situation.
To enhance yourself?
To enhance your, or to, not just even about your physical looks. Self-acceptance is, okay, this is who I am now, but this is who I am becoming. And these are the steps I will take to get there. So if I know where I'm coming from and where I'm going, the question I will ask myself, is plastic surgery important to where I'm going to my journey? If my answer is no, then I will not do it. If my answer is yes, then by all means do it. But if you are doing it, another question I would ask myself is, would this affect me negatively in any way?
Oh, yeah.
Would this affect my health? So you've got to weigh the pros and the cons. So there are no general rules
to this.
Life is a journey, and we are all on our own routes. You are on your route, Patience. You are on your route, Thelma. I cannot dictate to you what it is, because I don't know what your journey is. I don't know what your values are. So I can't speak to that. Yes, unless you share.
Just take this one, because it comes from an orphan. I've already crammed it, practically crammed it. He says he's 16 years old, living with his aunt, and the auntie maltreats him to no end. That he's feeling depressed, sad, hopeless, and wondering what he's still doing on Mother Earth. Someone asked us again if you're related to Sikiri Ayinde Barrister. So maybe you just tell us. He will sing us out, ma'am. So help me just answer that and then he'll perform.
Okay, so we're running
take
out
us
of
out.
time. So again, what are the options for that person? Is there somebody he can talk to? Is there somebody, I would say to that person, if you are listening to me, and I'm sure you're listening to me, is there somebody you can talk to? Because staying in that situation that is not nurturing, so that you don't have get so bad and then you take your life. So please, there's always somebody you can speak to. Maybe somebody in your school. And this is not about putting your aunt or your uncle or whatever down. This is about what you want. Speak to somebody. There has to be somebody you can speak to.
Or the authorities, if it gets too bad. I don't know the kind of...
I don't know. Yeah, but they must share. He must share. It starts with share. There must be somebody. Yeah. So please
don't be alone.
Don't be alone. Don't suffer alone. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So let's our entertainer, Fuji barrister, Fuji performer. Can you sing us out? Our show is done for this week. We want to thank you very much, Lady OK. You've been amazing.
Ìfẹ́ ló ṣe púpọ̀ ká fẹ́ràn ara wa ní Nàìjíríà. Ìfẹ́ ló ṣe púpọ̀ kíjọba fẹ́ràn aráàlú káràlú ṣe tìjọba. Ìfẹ́ ló ṣe púpọ̀ gbogbo ohun tá a bá ń ṣe kọ́kọ́ fẹ́ràn ìyàwó ẹ̀ kíyàwó fẹ́ràn ọkọ ẹ̀ o kọ́mọ fẹ́ràn bàbá ẹ̀ kọ́mọ fẹ́ràn màmá ẹ̀. NTA láwa yìí ọlọ́run ọba èmi kì í ké pé ẹ̀ wá dá wa lóhùn o gbogbo iṣẹ́ tá a bá ṣe fàlùbárí ká sọ̀rọ̀ wa gbogbo ọ̀nà tá a bá tọ̀ fàlùbárí ká sọ̀rọ̀ wa. Orílẹ̀-èdè táwa yìí bàbá dá wa lóhùn o má dá wa láàmú ní Nàìjíríà má fìyà jẹ wá ní Nàìjíríà má fogun já wa ara mi. Gbogbo ọmọ Nàìjíríà ẹ jẹ́ ká dìde tàwùsá ti Ìgbò pẹ̀lú Yorùbá ká gbàdúrà f'Ẹlẹ́dùmarè gbogbo àwọn tó wà níbẹ̀ yìí k'Ọlọ́run ọba kó tì wọ́n lẹ́yìn kan máa ṣàṣetì. Especially fún President Bọ́lá Tinubu Amẹ́dá o. Òkè lẹ́rẹ̀ yìí ẹ onídọ̀lárẹ̀ yìí mọ̀ lọ́lá Ọlọ́run ọba. Ẹ bá mi tọ́jú Kazeem Kasim Shetima Ranka Dede Alaiga Fatamola. Lọ́ládé Kasim agbolohun tó pọ̀ bí ọjẹ́ o. Òkìkí ìkọ́lé mi ń jẹ́ ọmọ bàbá ẹ̀. Àlùbáríkà tó pọ̀ lẹ́nu Lọ́ládé Àmàní. Ó yá máa jíjó fújì. Tiwa ni máa jíjó fújì. Àní máa jíjó fújì. Tiwa ni ẹ jẹ́ ń jíjó fújì. Tiwa ni gbogbo ọmọ Nàìjíríà. Tiwa ni Nàìjíríà. Naija ò ní bàjẹ́. Tiwa ni Haúsá ti Ìgbò. Tiwa ni Yorùbá lápapọ̀. Tiwa ni Naija ò ní bàjẹ́. Tiwa ni. Naija ò ní bàjẹ́ ká dúpẹ́ fọlọ́hun. Orílẹ̀-èdè táwa yìí Ọlọ́run ọba máa fògùn jà wá. NTA táwa yìí ilé-iṣẹ́ náà ò ní bàjẹ́. Kárí ayé lẹ̀ ń wò wá, wọ́n ń wò wá l'Amẹ́ríkà, wọ́n ń wò wá ní Canada, wọ́n ń wò wá ní Kútọ̀nù, wọ́n ń wò wá lẹ́fìwíẹ̀. Naija ò ní bàjẹ́. NTA ò ní.